back with the Screen Team on today's Talk 930 KWOC and also 93.3 on the FM dial. And the Screen Team is all brought to you by Whitworth Gift Chest Jewelers, where Walmart is next door to us. Go on there and check out their line of Pandora jewelry. They've also got a great selection of watches and clocks and accessories and well. It's all at Whitworth Gift Chest Jewelers. 33 Productions, the parent company of internet marketing products, including Fearless Social, I Am Secret, and Growth Lab. And I know, Sabrina, Fearless Social is getting ready to be kicked off huge for you guys here very, very shortly.
Yeah, you want to find out more about this amazing product that our company is putting out, just check us out on Facebook. Just type in Ben Adkins. He's the man.
Just like that, Ben Adkins?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, Poplar Bluff Drywall, interior and exterior finishing. References are available. Give them a call, 714-3127. Guys and gals, our next film today is The Grand Budapest Hotel. It's a film that's directed by Wes Anderson, and Wes Anderson is one of those directors that definitely has his own style. With every movie he's done, I mean, you can see that, it's a Wes Anderson film.
Right, and in a less obvious way than like a Tim Burton film, because he goes for a lot of the quirky. So does Wes Anderson, but it's not as on the nose, I think.
Right. Some of the other films he did Moonrise Kingdom. Were you able? Did you see that?
We actually reviewed it.
Did we?
That was one of my picks.
Yeah.
All right. I forgot. Let's see. It was a long time ago. I enjoyed that film a lot. It
was great.
I also did the Royal Tenenbaums and a lot of films since then. But if you've seen those films, you know what kind of style we're talking about. Very, very visual, very quirky. And
it's like somebody set up a shadow box, put a scene in it, and said, act. And the action takes place, and the scene is never varied whatsoever. Everything happens within that one box.
Yeah.
Instead of the camera following them
and
around.
if it does move, it moves in a straight pan, like almost like it was a what do you call it? A conveyor belt. And then it moves to the next part of it. And it's just so unique, and I just love this. That's one thing I would, if I could duplicate in my world, was the ability to film something like that. That's exactly what I would want to do.
That's a very good description of his style. Yeah, it's very picturesque. Everything's kind of made for the stage, so to speak. Like these could all, seemingly they could be plays even.
So, what is the overall story? I mean, how would you describe this to people? What's the story?
It's kind of a hard story to describe, so I'll do my best with it. But basically, Jude Law plays an author, and he's staying at the Grand Budapest Hotel, and actually happens to run into the owner, the curator, and basically gets his story, his life story of how he came into possession of the Grand Budapest Hotel. And it's kind of like a flashback within a flashback. So we're going into Inception territory here. It starts off with Tom Wilkinson, who plays an older Jude Law, kind of speaking about his book.
I missed that. That's awesome.
That was at the very beginning of the film. It was a great little comedic moment, yeah. And so he talks about his encounter and how he wrote the book, and then that's Jude Law speaking. It goes to the late 1960s when he first meets F. Abram, or just whenever he gets to talk about his story and how he became the owner of the Grand Hotel, and how he started off as a humble bellboy, and Ralph Fiennes was kind of his mentor and kind of like a father figure for him. And it kind of goes through all their different adventures, and it's a great murder mystery that I wasn't expecting at all. It just looked like another funny, quirky comedy that Wes Anderson made, and there's actually a little bit more darkness and mystique to it than that.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe and Adrian Brody play terrific villains in this film. Very, very, very dark, in that part, but it's kind of juxtaposed with all this great humor and bright scenery and bright, wardrobe, and it works as a period piece as well as, a really, really cool fantasy and a great work of fiction.
Yeah, I really, really think this film is going to have a lot of awards won, next time award season comes around.
I hope
Which is strange, because to me it still feels like this is a strange time of year to put out a movie that is potentially an award winner.
Well, they used to do that. If you remember, like, not even as far back as, 5 14, 15 years ago. Gladiator came out in May and won Best Picture that following year. Another winner or another contender that year was The Patriot. It came out like maybe in June or July. So there was a time when a lot of Best Picture nominees were released in the middle of the year.
That's where we got the phrase summer blockbuster. Exactly.
But, blockbusters aren't necessarily going to be Oscar contenders, maybe for special effects, but that's kind of a different movie. Although there are a lot of blockbusters that do make it to that level, like, in Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, that made it. For Star Wars, those were all blockbusters that also were nominated for Best Picture. They didn't win, but, they at least were recognized by the Academy. The Academy today has such a short attention span. I'm worried that this movie will go overlooked. And that'd be a real crime because it's so fantastic.
I think it will go overlooked in some categories, but not other ones. I think it's going to be nominated for Best Picture, but I don't think it's even going to be in the top 5 as far as what people consider the best film, just because they haven't really done that with a lot of Wes Anderson films.
Unfortunately,
they know his style, and I don't think they're gonna change.
It's kind of like
minds.
the Indie Darling, is what it is. They just kind of give him the recognition,
right? But I will say that I think it probably will win top prizes in cinematography, probably costume, things of that nature. A lot of the technical stuff.
And at least it'll be a contender.
That's right. Ray Fiennes too. I'm hoping gets at least nominated for Best Actor. He really carried the entire film. And he was a character that, he wasn't the narrator. He wasn't anything, but yet he was the lead actor. Mm-hmm. It was kind of a unique position to be in. Yeah. But he was just, fantastic.
He's really one of our most underrated actors, man. If you ever saw him in Schindler's List, he was he's one of the worst villains, man.
Absolutely, ever.
Yeah. Sabrina, your thoughts on this film?
Well, I've already said that how much I love the way it's filmed. Mm-hmm. Visually, it's just extremely pleasing to someone who looks at the world through the camera lens.
Yeah, great aesthetics.
I just, it reminds me that it's okay to be linear. And a lot of times I find myself when I am taking pictures that I try to make it look real and make it look unplanned. And this was such an awesome reminder that there are things in this world that are planned and laid out, and they are mirrored, and they are linear, and they are beautifully architecturally awesome. And so that's what I liked most about this. Secondary to me was the story and the acting. Everything else was secondary to the visual aspects of this movie. Not necessarily the ideal thing you want to walk away from a movie having to say, but that's just me. And I got a very unique perspective on it.
You're so taken by the visuals.
Yes. And the story and the acting, everything was secondary to me. So, but still very pleasing and enjoyable. I could have this and the Moonrise Kingdom, is that what it's called? Right. I could have both of those in my collection at home and be like, oh yeah, let's watch this. Because it's a happy, easy feeling watching this because it's so easy. And I can't say that enough, I guess. It's easy.
I definitely, out of all of Wes Anderson's films, I like this one and Moonrise Kingdom the best over some of his early stuff. They're both very good films, so if you get a chance, definitely check out The Grand Budapest Hotel. It's new to Blu-ray and DVD.
And there is language, just so you know. Not a family-friendly movie.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
No.
Thank you for that.
Yep.
All right, coming up after the break, we're going to review a family-friendly movie. It's called How to Train Your Dragon 2, and it's up next on Today's Talk, 930 KWOC.